Are you going away this year on holiday? However, you're very anxious and nervous about stepping on a plane. Don't worry, a lot of people are like that. There's a reason, there's a fear that exists. Some people, and this could be you, who are terrified of actually flying. This is very, very common. But why are we scared? Once we understand why we're scared of doing something and we actually understand it, you can get rid of it. And in this video, you're going to learn exactly how to get rid of the fear of flying. And once you find out how it actually works and what causes the fear itself, you'll be pleasantly surprised. In fact, what you're about to learn will actually change your perception of flying. In other words, you'll be flying all the bloody time.
Analyzing the news.
All right, let's be real. A lot of people are scared of flying. We know this. And I mean really scared. Not just nervous. I'm talking about a kind of fear that stops them from even booking a holiday. For some, just hearing the word airport makes the situation turn their heart into a panic. It starts racing. The hands will start sweating, and the idea of stepping onto a plane, no chance. It ain't gonna happen. Let me give you an example. My brother was supposed to come on a holiday with us, right? And my brother's not a young man. He's traveled before. He's been all over the world. He's been on planes several times. But ever since something traumatic happened in his life, in other words, something personal happened to him, which had nothing to do with planes, since that event, for some bizarre reason, even the thought of getting on a plane creates this anxiety that rushes through his whole body, and he will not get on a plane because he's terrified. We've tried to talk to him about it, but nothing seems to help. But what you're going to hear now did help. It did work. And he is going on the plane because now he's not scared. So he was scared, but now he's not. So what did he learn? What did he do differently to get rid of this fear? Well, you're going to find out. The first thing we have to do is sort of recognize about this fear, because that's what it is. Let's look at it. It's not the plane that he's scared of, it's the fear itself. But why does this happen? Why are people so afraid of flying? That's what we've got to learn. Let's break it down. Let's talk about what's really going on in the brain when this process happens, this thought process. And more importantly, how do we bloody fix it? Right, check this out. You'll like this. Where the fear comes from, that's what we have to find out. So fear of flying, also called aviophobia, isn't always about the plane itself. Like I said before, sometimes it's about the lack of control when we fly. We have to trust the pilot. Now that's a big step because we don't even know who the pilot is, and now we're relying on them, we're trusting them, we're putting our lives in their hand. Even that thought alone is terrifying, isn't it? We have to trust the plane. We have to trust the pilot. And we can't just get off if we're scared, because when you're scared, you want to run away, don't you? But when you're in a plane, you can't escape. So you're in a state of fear and you can't go anywhere. So it makes the fear even more. It feels like we're in a nightmare. And that's a big deal for people who are already in a state of anxiety, or they feel anxious in their everyday life. So this is just going to lift it up, isn't it? So we know that now. We know that's the process, the emotional state that we're going to go through when we're either thinking about getting on a plane, and more so when we're actually at the airport, and more so when we're actually sitting on the plane itself and it's just about to take off. Oh my God, we're panicking. But you don't need to. Listen to this, you'll like this. You've got to understand that the brain loves control. And when we feel like we're out of control, the brain thinks we are in danger. That's your brain, okay? So don't worry about it. It's perfectly normal. It thinks that we're in danger when we're not in control. Even if we're not in danger, the brain doesn't know the difference between what's real and what's not. That's called the subconscious, but we'll go into that in another video. It's an interesting science, but it's true. You see, when someone thinks about flying, their brain might go straight to the worst case scenario. That's what we normally do. We tend to think the worst possible outcome, don't we? We always do. We worry ourselves sick. It could be our thoughts, like, what if the plane crashes? What if I have a panic attack and I can't escape? What if something goes wrong in midair? Oh. So we've got all these thoughts and they're spinning around over and over and over again before we've even got on the bloody plane. These thoughts may seem extreme to someone who loves flying, but for someone who's scared, these feelings are very real. And again, your subconscious mind doesn't know the difference between what's real and what's not, what's imagined and what's physical. That's the nature of reality. We don't see things as they are, we see things as we are. So we put the fear on ourselves and then we project it. So we're making it worse for ourselves, even though there's no actual evidence of fear. Remember that this is a brain game. This is your brain doing the little tricks. You're scaring yourself to death. No one else is doing it. You're doing it. But the thing is, you're not aware of it. You're not aware that you're doing this to yourself. But through these conversations and this information, now you're becoming more consciously aware that you are actually hurting yourself. You're scaring yourself. You have to recognize the brain's alarm system. Now, here's where it gets very interesting. Because inside the brain, there's a small part of the brain called the amygdala. It's like your brain's smoke alarm. It's always watching for danger, but sometimes it overreacts and it sets the alarm off even when there's no real threat. So let's look at this a bit closer. When someone thinks about flying, the amygdala might go, oh no, oh no, oh no. And it happens automatically. You have no conscious control over it. You think you're in danger because your subconscious mind, the amygdala, thinks you're in danger. So now you're having that emotional response to the thing before you even consciously accepted, wait a minute, is this a threat? You automatically take over. Like I say, it's like a smoke alarm. It's on an automatic response. And why does it do this? It's because the fight or flight response, it's like a panic attack. We've all experienced that, haven't we? When something scary comes towards us, we either run towards it or run away from it. Usually, we run away from it. That's the fight or flight response. And that's what you're experiencing when you're even thinking about flying, let alone getting on the bloody plane. And that's what causes the anxiety. In other words, that's what causes the fear. But don't be scared by it, because this is just the brain, your brain, trying to protect you. But the problem is, it's incorrect, it's wrong. Flying is actually one of the most safest ways to travel. Now, I know you hear that all the time. You think, well, that's not true, but it bloody is, I'm telling you. Let me explain. You see, some common triggers that can affect your brain are these. The fear of flying can be made worse by bad past experiences with flying, like turbulence. If you've experienced turbulence and it's literally frightened you to death, you're less likely to go on a plane again because you've experienced a negative experience. Once bitten, twice shy, is that what they say? You've experienced a level of trauma, but you've created the trauma in your mind because not everybody was affected by it, only you. So you could be on a plane and the plane has turbulence. Some people are affected by it. Some people are like, well, it's just turbulence. It's natural. It's just the air waves. Not a problem. You look at this. Think of about a pilot. How many times do they experience turbulence? They experience it every bloody day. It's all part of the job, isn't it? It's all part of their job. They're flying every day, so they're going to experience enormous amounts of turbulence. But they don't think, oh God, I'm not going to work tomorrow. I'm not getting back on that plane again. I'm not going to even attempt to fly it. They know, they understand it's just turbulence, it's fine. But because we don't know that, as passengers, it scares us because we don't understand and we're not in control. But You understand now. Another thing that's going to trigger anxiety and fear is by watching scary news stories. So stay away from it because you're scaring yourself and you're listening to horror films and people's experience, negative experience that they've had. This is going to add fear and it's going to activate your imagination in a negative way because you're going to think, well, if it happened to them, it can happen to me. No, that doesn't work like that, does it, really, when you think? What about the fear of heights? I'm scared of heights. I don't like heights. It's like, oh, it's scary. So getting on a plane is going to be really scary. But I'm aware of it. That's why I don't feel the sensation of fear. I'm aware of it because I know these things. And you too now know these things. You see, fear of not being able to escape is a big one. You can be claustrophobic. If you're claustrophobic, you're going to be in a small environment. You're in a bloody plane, for crying out loud. You have no control. So now you think you're being chained up, locked in. That itself is a very terrifying experience. But again, remember, it's Yam Gidlia. Once you're aware of it, then the fear disappears because now you're consciously aware it's not real. It really isn't. You see, even things like long airport lines being surrounded by crowds or just worrying about being late can add to the stress because stress creates fear. That's why you've got to be calm all the time. Stay calm and relaxed. And don't worry, I'm going to show you how to stay calm and relaxed. There's an answer for everything. If there's a question, there's an answer. So how does this affect us in our daily life? Fear affects everyone. It affects me. I'm filming now. I'm walking around with a camera thinking, what will people think of me? I'm a weirdo. So I've got to sort of put that to the back of my mind because my Abgidlia is like fight or flight. I shouldn't really be filming because people are going to have an opinion of me. I'm putting this video out and you're going to either enjoy it and learn something, or there's going to be trolls who are going to say something evil and negative and personal about me. They're going to attack me. I've got the fear of that. But at the end of the day, I understand the human mind. And once you understand the human mind, or the brain, there's nothing to be afraid of. You see, this fear isn't just about planes. It can make a mess with a person's entire life. They might avoid holidays with friends and family, miss out on job opportunities, feel ashamed or embarrassed, or maybe spend years without seeing places that they've always dreamed of visiting, all to do with the fear that's embedded in their unconscious mind. Unconscious means they're not aware of it. But again, you're going to be made aware of it, so don't worry. Because with fear, there's the worst part of it. People with fear and anxiety, they often feel alone in it, but they're not alone because millions of people feel this way. There's 7 billion people on this planet. So don't think you're the only one who's scared because you're bloody not. There is something positive about fear. There is good news. And the good news is that the fear can be changed. You can learn to fly without fear. You can do it. And I'm going to show you. Okay, let's have a look then. Let's get to the point. Let's get to the nitty gritty. How do we overcome the fear of flying, right? You'll like this. Okay, so let's talk about the solution. The real proven ones that actually bloody work. Because we want it to work, don't we? We want it to work or it's pointless. If it doesn't work, what's the point of bloody doing it? But you're going to find out right now. You see, there is a science. Now, this science is backed up with ways that help people from going from panic to peace. Even when they're 35,000 feet in the air, you can still shift it because it's your consciousness and you're in control of it, believe it or not. So don't worry about that. Okay, what you've got to do is this. Number 1 is learn the facts. One of the best ways to calm your mind is to learn how flying actually works. Remember, we're only afraid of the things that we don't understand. So if we understand it, then we're not going to be afraid. That makes perfect sense, doesn't it? You see, planes are built to handle all kinds of conditions. They can fly through storms. Now, can you even walk through a storm? Unlikely, but a bloody plane can. Because they're designed to keep flying even if one engine bloody stops. Pilots are trained for every possible scenario. So whatever the worst case scenario is that you can imagine, the pilots and the planes are built and designed, and the pilots are trained for them types of scenarios. They know exactly what they're doing, or they wouldn't be doing it, would they? Can you imagine? How many planes crash a year? I don't know. But how many planes fly a year? Hundreds of thousands? In fact, statistically, you're more likely to get hurt driving to the airport than flying in a plane. Seriously, flying is that safe. Now, knowing this doesn't erase fear overnight. It can help, but it doesn't erase it. Though when you understand that turbulence, which is when the plane goes up and down, is normal, then the planes are meant to handle it, which you're aware of because they're trained to do that, then your brain can start to chill out a little bit. So when you feel turbulence, you just go, oh, okay, that's just the air. That's just the air. Because I'm flying, it's just wobbling a little bit. The plane's not going to crash, don't worry. It's just turbulence. It's like a bouncy castle. I'm not going to break your leg, are you? You're just bouncing a little bit. You're all right. There's also breathing techniques, which is really important because anxiety can make your breathing very fast and very shallow. And this just reinforces that feeling to your brain that something is wrong, which is going to generate the anxiety and make you feel a lot more scared. It's the body-mind connection. But if you slow your breathing down, your brain starts to calm down. If you don't believe me, try it. Take a deep breath in, take a deep breath out. Calm, calm. You're tricking your mind to make it feel that everything is safe. Have you ever heard of that saying, that technique? This is a good one, so try this. You breathe in for 4 seconds, you hold your breath for 4 seconds, and then you breathe out for 6 seconds. Do this a few times and instantly that'll slow your anxiety down. Don't believe me? Try it. It works every time. Breathe in for 4 seconds, hold your breath for 4 seconds, then breathe out for 6 seconds, and immediately it will calm your anxiety down. Because now your brain thinks, oh, there's no danger, is there? I feel in a calm state, so what's there to be scared of? Another really important thing that you could do is something called visualization. That means see it. Now, let's have a look. You see, before a flight, just close your eyes and imagine a calm journey. Can you see a picture of yourself packing, getting to the airport, boarding the plane and feeling relaxed? Congruently get that image in your mind and then just play it over and over and over again in your imagination like you're watching a movie. Because once you do that, your brain doesn't know the difference between what's real or not. So you're going through the motions of boarding the plane and you're doing it before the flight itself. So then when you actually get on the plane, you've already played this out, God knows how many times, in your mind, in your imagination. Again, visualization is a very powerful tool, and I cannot underestimate the word visualization. It is extremely empowering and powerful. In other words, see the things that are not as if they already were. So when it really happens, you're prepared for it because you've seen it God knows how many times. You've been there, you've done that. It's a piece of cake. So again, I'll just repeat myself. The brain doesn't always know the difference between what's imagined and reality. So the more you practice calm thoughts, the more your brain will begin to believe them. Keep doing it. See it over and over again. And then when the event happens, I've seen this before, no problem. Another thing you could do, which is very powerful, is exposure. In other words, step by step. The one's real powerful is called gradual exposure. You slowly face your fear. It's like you wouldn't just jump in a swimming pool because you don't know how cold it is. So what do? You get in slowly, you put a toe in and then it gets deeper until your body gets conditioned to it and then you're used to it and now you feel what it feels like. So the fear itself isn't overwhelming and then you fight or fight amygdala isn't going to kick in and you're not going to run a mile and feel a state of anxiety. So again, exposure step by step. Now what does that look like? Well, let's have a look. What you could do is start by looking at a picture of a plane or planes, then watch videos of flights, then maybe go to an airport without flying, get used to the environment. Again, you're going in slow. Then book a short flight, a very short flight, so you can get used to it. You see, each step teaches your brain that nothing bad is going to happen. And then you will build trust within yourself because you've been exposed to it over and over and over again, and nothing bad happens. So then the fight or flight response is like, oh, actually, there's no threat here, is there? Now, if you've got extreme phobias, then obviously you can get professional help. But before you do that, just follow these simple steps. Here's another one. This is really powerful. Use distractions. In other words, on the flight, bring things like headphones. Because you've got headphones, it blocks out a sense. That means you're listening to music, so you're not thinking about it. Use noise cancellation in headphones. They're the best ones. And while you've got them on, play calm music or a good book or a movie. And I know it's difficult because you feel like you can't concentrate reading a book or watching a movie when your heart's racing, but the more you focus your attention, it pulls your attention away from the reality of what's happening. Again, it will calm your anxiety and everything will be fine. Or mental stimuli like playing games on your phone, anything to distract you. Really powerful stuff. You see, keeping a busy mind helps reduce anxiety because when your mind's somewhere else, it's not in the anxiety, and that's what we're trying to avoid. So we're trying to put our thoughts somewhere else. This is so powerful, I can assure you. Just try it because your mind can learn to actually not be afraid of flying, but in fact, thrive and love flying. This fear doesn't define you. It's just a pattern in your brain, learned. And you've learned it. You don't know how you've learned it. You may know, you may not, but it doesn't matter. It's a learned behavior. All fear is learned behavior. You were only born with two fears when you were a baby. Did you know that? One of them is the fear of loud noises and the fear of falling. There was no fear of flying on a plane because when you were a baby, you could be on a plane, you would care less, no fear there. It's only as you become an adult, now you become fearful. That means you've learned it. It's a learned behavior. That means it's not real, okay? So you can learn to actually thrive and love flying. Wouldn't that be great? Can you imagine that if you loved flying? You'd be traveling all over the bloody world. Nothing would be stopping you because now you're in a confident, excited state of awareness and you're thriving. You'll enjoy life instead of being afraid. You got to remember everything's energy and fear takes your energy. Confidence gives you energy. So what do you want? Do you want your energy to be taken away from you, i.e. anxiety and fear, or do you want it to be given to you, which is confidence? And confidence comes through simple steps like the ones I've shared with you. I hope this video has been useful. And if you practice it, I can assure you, you'll be like Superman. You'll be flying all over the world and you'll enjoy life. You'll travel. And what do they say? Travel broadens the mind. And that's a true story. So if you're planning on going on a holiday soon, which hopefully you are, and you're going to get on a plane, get excited. And try these techniques and I can assure you that's exactly what will happen and you'll enjoy the whole process of your adventure in the future.